right, Griggs, join us. Yeah, the power went out. Right after I set this all up, power went out a couple of times, so it might go out again. Who knows? It's been raining here a lot. So it's not raining now, but it might have had some kind of reboot going on. So it wasn't off for very long, just for a couple of seconds. Yeah, maybe longer than that. All right, cats are here. That woke them up. They've been sleeping like a rock. Of course, Fritzy's here to bite my arm, my legs, my arms, whatever. We'll see. The ninja is over there, the background ninja. So, all right. So the Secret Invasion, of course, it's like a TV show that's on right now. Stop. I can't. Yeah. Put you on TV. Here, Fritzy. Say hi, everybody. Which is not by my foot for now. So the Secret Invasion obviously goes back to the reptilians and everything, and whoever else that's here, the Mongols or whatever that's here. It's basically, I mean, in the TV show or the comic, it's basically scroll beings are imitating people. So that was before, I believe that was all before David Icke and everything. So we're going to go into that energy. And the United Nations is an easy target, obviously. And Africa is a good, it's an easy target. Well, because it's such a low, of course, the U.S. I think parts of the U.S. are worse than Africa. Jeez. But Africa and the U.S. are, they're download places for low frequencies to manipulate the rest of the world. So obviously the slums, India also. It just says they're all download points from the lower dimensions to put in their agendas, human trafficking, whatever you need to connect, whatever it is. Of course, Haiti is also going through a great deal. So just basically connected to the invasion energy just for the sake of it. Why? Just feels like it's something that's happened. This is something that needs to be tapped into. And United Nations, I mean, how many in the spiritual community ever think about the United Nations? Probably not many. It doesn't exactly come up in your New Age groups at all. So it's something maybe it adds to more of the conspiracy theory stuff. And also going to the Anunnaki and their consciousness, how they roll society, or just their point of view of us. If you like them or not, it's another story. I mean, Anunnaki are looked down upon pretty much, but then again, our race is looked down upon too. You can add all the heat you want to them. Our one has a lot of issues. It's not like we're overcoming their manipulations. That's not working. You can blame them all day long. We're still, it's still humanity's issue here. We still have to, you can do the blame game all day, but it comes down to it. This world obviously has a lot of issues. And also galactic, intergalactic animal planets, animal worlds, animal consciousness. And see what needs to occur there. So right now the power is still working. So enjoy it while it lasts. If it goes off, I'm just going to leave it at that. What you get is what you get. So yeah, it's been raining. It's been raining here every day, which is good. No hurricanes so far. Yeah, it looks pretty good for this year, which is interesting. So I'm Tony Connor, private sessions. We have the schedule. We have a shop here. Webinars, social network, behind the scenes. Archive. Okay. Yeah, I lost my notes. I lost everything. Not that I had that much of notes, but I had to find everything again. So, all right, cats are just taking it easy. So yesterday, this target the background, the ninja, no background takedown. Yeah, it fell down right after yesterday's recording. So yeah, and then Priscilla finished the job. It fell down partially, and then she took it upon herself to take it down completely. Mission accomplished. So it's probably a world out there trying to take down my background. Probably a whole agenda out there. So, all right, we're going to the Secret Invasion, United Nations. Even, yeah, secret, just this alien, obviously not all alien beings make themselves known. Of course, you know what we know to a certain level. Obviously, there's a lot of others that are unnamed, and it's probably going to continue that way for whatever reason. The energies have been heavy recently due to the storms and whatever agenda that's coming in. It's just been a heavy frequency overall. So we'll see what comes through on that. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greece. You could say this is the secret invasion energies or beings that don't want to make themselves that well known here. Well, their job is to suppress your society. Well, it's also up to humanity to overcome the manipulations of your planet. Of course, some are doing it to certain levels, others are ignoring it for obvious reasons, for whatever reasons. Of the beings that are here, it's not just reptilian. There's countless beings that do not want to be named or ever be, but you can say they're godlike creatures. You can say they're similar to like your mythical times. Well, they feel like they can do whatever they want. Now, as humanity opens more of its higher chakras, you'll start to see these creatures of your past once again. Yeah, they're feeding off your planet's energy. So you have like a being like a centaur, or there's several other beings there, or cyclops, or just a creature in general, just a dragon being. They incarnate as a human and siphon off the energies of your earth. Well, basically like a siren, as some of you have had connections with. Yeah, like the three-headed monsters. They're dragon energies of your past. You see in mythology. Yeah, they incarnate here as people and cause their mayhem. Like a three-headed creature, we usually have three people with them. It's like, because their soul can't just consume one body, it needs three. It might be through friends, brothers, sisters, whatever it might be. It needs three to do it. Same thing with a two-headed monster and so on. Now, some might actually create a whole other head out of themselves, but usually they try not to do that. So it's another way of looking at your realm. Obviously, you have, as many of you experience, a lot of vampire energy. The vampire beings are quite heavy here. So as you can say, there's always different conspiracies. So many different types. It doesn't mean they're all wrong, not at all. It's just hard to handle all of it. There's also werewolf beings here too, of course, in human form. Werewolf beings are usually pretty hairy people. We'll just leave it at that. Doesn't mean they're always psychotic, but they can have. No, there can be good ones also. And same thing with the vampire people. There can be good ones and bad ones. Usually the bad ones are lost normally. The good ones are quiet because they're scanning the energies of the ones that are, don't have the best intentions. Kind of like to keep an eye on them, you could say. They don't know, they're not always aware. Realize they're not usually aware of this consciously. And we're not just talking about government infiltration, just society infiltration in general. obviously the United Nations is connected to other planets, of course. It's not going to reveal itself anytime soon, not yet. Well, it's basically the United Nations it's already a galactic entity. It just hasn't made itself public on that level. And some of you will happen in this life, probably not. But there will be future, in the future, it will be a United Nations of not just the world, but like an alien side of it, which will freak a lot of people out. Now, will there be actual alien beings here representing their reality? Not yet. It'll be mostly just humans here acknowledging their existence at first. You can say channelers, or just like even cities can be like in Africa or other places where they just say this is an alien nation now. And they just call themselves that. It doesn't mean there's aliens roaming around everywhere. So something to think about. And yes, we might be putting that idea out there, but the idea is already there anyway. So we're making it more public. At least that's one place that can be done. If we have like a country in Africa that nobody cares about, and they just feel like they're an alien, or the government there feels very alien, and they can like put reptilian on their flag or whatever it might be. Just putting that out there. So there is a future timeline where the galactic realms will start. Well, basically, humans recognize themselves as alien energies. They haven't quite gone into that timeline yet. Obviously, going through this whole gender discovery, as you can see, or disaster. It's more like a disaster. It's not really an awakening. It's more like a manipulation. It's like, how many can we take down with this attack on gender equality? It's basically an attack. That in itself is an invasion, especially on the kids, which has happened, maybe not in that way in the past, but children have been attacked throughout history. This is nothing new. It's done a different way. That's all. Of course, they're going to attack your kids. That's the weakest point. They do that. They invade your future realities. So that's why. That's a vulnerability that most parents are not really protecting. It's getting better, but it's always going to be some vulnerability, especially when the family home is all ruined and everything, and they can't think straight half the time. All done by design, of course. So yeah, attack on children has always been going on throughout history. This whole gender, it's just, part of the U.S. is turning into a nanny state, which has happened in the past also. And you can say even ancient Rome had a version of that. It never really lasts very long. Eventually because it becomes so weak, it gets invaded. So it says a lot about the U.S. Now, would China invade the U.S.? Not likely. They're playing war games right now. But there's still a stronghold within the U.S. A lot of it's going to decay, and there's not much they can do about it. But the China has enough problems as it is. Will they go to war with each other? It'll weaken both sides if that happens. They're already weakened as it is. It'll just make things worse. Like with Taiwan. Right now, they're just trying to avoid it. It's a possibility still, yes. Greetings, this is the Anunnaki consciousness. Realize we come in as a neutral frequency, not one to judge your society. Yes, of course, Anunnaki beings have a lot of difficulties here. A lot of them have been angered by humanity and brought out the darker side of themselves due to the energy, the ruthlessness of your world. Not to say that's trying to make the Anunnaki look good. No. The Anunnaki did provoke a lot of it too. So basically, you're like cousins to us, or brothers and sisters, however you want to look at it. it might be a distant connection. Doesn't really matter. However you look at it, there's so much device. Of course, many are still angry at the Anunnaki for their power grab over the Earth, and some are going through their ego senses. But overall, Anunnaki presence is not going to leave this world. There is good here to assist. There's good within humanity, of course, too. That's slowly coming out. It's just hard for the projected uh, ascension. Well, the individual ascension will always occur. As for, I mean, there is versions of the ascension, but still, your militaries and your governments have too much. Of course, it's the same thing, but and your religions have a grip on your planet. They have too much of a hard hold on your world for it to truly happen on a worldwide, as some are seeing it. I mean, some are remembering it on other versions of Earth, but sometimes those ascensions don't last very long either. There's some trickster beings energy with that. They're just not remembering that part of it. Well, basically, if your Earth begins to ascend to a higher frequency, you don't need your moon anymore. Your moon will leave. You'll have maybe other moons, more higher frequencies, or you'll have some different moon energy. You don't need what you have currently. Basically, the moon you have now is just, it was like the perfect sphere for what your world's going through. And just basically kind of like a guard. Is it creating this reality to a certain level, but only because that's where humanity's energy is. When humanity begins to shift its frequency to higher energy, the moon will no longer move. The continents will change. The whole frequency of the Earth will be a different vibration. And you're always going to go through a certain level of that. And there are timelines where much change will occur, but not yet. But what you are feeling like with the weather, yes, there's a lot of rainstorms, a lot of cleansings. Basically, inner work is going on with the Earth itself. So the Earth is preparing for its future, you can say. So that's going to be the end of the world, nothing like that. And so it's preparing for a culture change eventually. Eventually, where it will affect millions, even billions over time. Well, it's basically a culture change is what you need. Which is part of your awakening to a certain level. As for alien energies, that's still a fear frequency there. And it's not like not even the aliens are fully prepared for that. But in some places, it becomes more popular. But not on a global scale, not yet. You still have a lot to deal with here, as you know. But there might be countries that accept more of an alien frequency. Doesn't mean you'll have insectoid beings walking around 6 foot tall. Not yet. But as more countries allow the alien energies, just allow that culture to come in, which might look crazy, might even look cult-like. But basically, welcome Palladians, Syrians, whatever it might be, whatever they choose, whatever name they pick up on. Yeah, it's going to be a strange world if that starts to happen. It's like they're more open to intergalactic connections, even if it doesn't ever happen physically. But basically, they kind of program, and there's some programming there mentally, programming their people to think that. Well, of course, some people would want to like that too. Yeah, it's a strange time for that, if that even happens here, which it could. So you can say you're preparing for all kinds of strange things. As for the Anunnaki frequency, yes, you say the rumors are true. Our presence is quite heavy here. A lot of beings don't like us. We don't always get along with everyone for various different reasons. So many agendas. You can say you have millions of alien beings here. That's not include your population. That's for influence. So good luck on tapping into every one of those. That's why so many people, you can say there's billions, but we'll just say it's millions at this point. That's still quite a lot. I mean, going to astral plane, you can go on forever with that. But overall, it's like several million beings are involved with your Earth currently. Helping with your ascension, and others are half of it is there to block it. For whatever reason, they're having to go through their own darkness. Well, they feel like you're part members of their society. So not all these alien groups have been mentioned. Some, it just gets very confusing. So maybe too confusing. Greetings. The animal consciousness of your world and others. One of the strongest animal frequency here is the ape. They feel like they are part of your society. Or the monkey, because you always hear about reptilians and all that, how exciting they are. They're actually kind of boring. Ape beings can be more radicalized than the human. They say apes do look upon your world as, we're not the only ones that are crazy. Look at your planet. Because ape beings can be far worse than the human. Destroy their worlds like it's no problem. Like it's like an everyday event. It's like it's normal. That's not good. So we bring our knowledge to your society to eventually come together. As you know, like you see, like in the zoos, and not all apes like the zoo, but they do like interacting with humans. Of course, some do get kind of abusive, sexual harassing. To them, it's normal. Of course, they do that with that's the animal version of it. They're just doing it for play. Of course, your race would say, yeah, but that's not the kind of play we're looking for. So, yeah. But as for the gorilla frequencies, yes, Planet of the Ape energies, which some of you probably remember. Some of you probably don't even want to remember. Yes, the Anunnaki gets all the heat, and we're glad to give it to them. But it's not always Anunnaki beings that are causing trouble here. Well, I think like a radicalized ape being, which many of you probably aren't even thinking about. We're not that different than humans, really. I mean, obviously, they have the animal version here, which is quite tame, which is a good energy overall. But when you have a radicalized, crazy ape being from another reality, that's psychotic, and it's like it's just like, who can be crazier, the human or the ape? The ape will find a way to, be worse. And it's not and some of them do have, technology added to those different type of ape beings. So some ape beings are very natural, with themselves, and others have to have technology added to them and all that. So yeah, they are challenging your reality, of course. Well, can you handle the universe? Can't even handle yourselves yet. So it's basically what you're bringing as a new philosophy to your society. To have less manipulations, more enlightenment. It might be a strange enlightenment, but basically less negativity on your planet, which is obviously not happening. The gang warfare on your planet, not just your government. Government is pretty bad. Not all of it, but most of it's pretty corrupt, of course. It's doing what it does best. It's in its DNA to be corrupt. So it justifies its darkness. But you say the gangs are probably worse. When you're around that energy, as some of you can imagine, doesn't mean you need to be around it. But you can imagine. It's kind of like having a bunch of ape beings coming after you and making your life hell. I mean, you can say there's a reptilian connected to that. You say the apes and reptilians are still kind of at odds. Who can be worse? But still, the apes feel like they're worse. So they're always trying to beat each other out. Of course, your race of human is another, put all three of us in a ring, see who wins that one. It's just the philosophy of reality it's not taking account of the diversity that's here. There's alien frequencies that are here, the animal energies, the elephant beings that are here are more of a tame frequency. You don't see any elephants trying to cause any trouble. Sometimes they do, but usually they're pretty calm overall. they can get crazy too. But the ape beings are ones that are, they're pretty tame here, but on a galactic level, they're far from it. Obviously, I've met nice, positive beings, but your world is basically has to, want to change. It's like an alcoholic. It's like it just keeps drinking and pulling in wolf fruit. Not everybody, but quite a few, just like their vices. And that can change. Well, basically, open up. You can have your vice, but open up your minds a little bit more. That would be nice. Then you can have a bunch of alien spaceships fly in your sky and just land and say, "How's it going?" That day will come eventually. It's just not. It will. As for timing, anything is possible. What's this?